Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna and I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're going to be reviewing and wear testing the Purlisse Perfect Glow BB Cream SPF 30 and seeing how it holds up on the skin, how it performs, what it looks like, what it does, and all the details, claims, everything. So yeah, if that interests you, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know, is there any other foundation products you're interested in? Let me know and I will try to pick them up to review. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the demo, the claims, and that wear test. We're going to be testing out the Purlisse Perfect BB Glow Cream SPF. This is an oil-free, moisturizing, natural-looking coverage matte meets glowy finish for all skin types BB cream SPF product. This is marketed more as just an SPF with coverage. And it's meant to be kind of a standalone product where you're not supposed to have to add in another SPF. It does have SPF 30, which to me is fine if I'm not going outdoors and being in the sunlight a ton. Like if I'm just like staying in the house, I don't have a lot of windows. I don't see a lot of sunlight in my home. But so an SPF 30 I think is fine just for that type of thing. But normally I'm an SPF 50 kind of gal if I'm going to be out and about. So in that case, I would probably apply an SPF under this, layer it up. But this is marketed to be your kind of standalone product with coverage so that you don't have to do two products. This is supposed to kind of cover all the bases. From the way it's marketed, that's how it seems. Now this has a beautiful finish to it. It is a very kind of lit from within, almost like an ambient lighting powder finish to this. It gives the skin, it sets down on itself to where it has like a velvety finish, at the same time has a glow. It is really, really unique and very pretty. It reminds me of the way like the Hourglass is marketing their new foundation. It's how I expect it to look, but when I see people using it, it doesn't look like that. It looks way more matte. But this has that really pretty kind of healthy lit from within shine and glow, but it's not overly dewy. It doesn't look greasy. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look oily. Like this is definitely something geared towards oilier to combo skin types, and I think you would really enjoy this because it really does set down on itself. I found that I have been able to wear this in the dead of summer here in Louisiana without powder, and it's held up beautifully. My skin has looked great. It's wore so gracefully all day. I didn't feel oily or sticky or anything like that. My skin felt good and it looked really good all day. And this does have a decent amount of coverage in my personal opinion and what I look for in a foundation. I'm not somebody who wants over the top full coverage. I like a light coverage leaning maybe into a touch of medium coverage, and that is exactly what this is. You do get some coverage from it. You get a nice evening out coverage that you could go in and correct a little bit with concealer where you might need it. Like it's just kind of that perfect middle ground for me where I can build it up if I need to and get some decent coverage out of it, like say on my cheeks, and then take a concealer and brighten up anywhere, or pinpoint concealer, whatever. This is very conducive to that type of thing, and it just looks very much skin-like on the skin, but it does so well in the heat. Like I was incredibly impressed with how it held up. Like it didn't melt off of me. I didn't feel it on my skin. It is so lightweight. It doesn't feel like an SPF product that I have tried. Maybe the closest thing would be something from Supergoop. They have the matte SPF that kind of dries down. That could be the only thing that I could compare this to. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It's a really, really nice product, and the finish is just so pretty, but you will see all that in a moment. Now, the shade range is kind of lacking. It only does come in 11 shades. It is a sheer product and definitely can be sheared out and, you know, applied with your fingers. But 11 shades is not huge. This is a Korean brand and they do tend to not have the biggest shade ranges. But I do think the more that they are marketing in the US, they have expanded shade ranges a little bit. Anyway, this does retail for $30 and it is formulated with exclusive ancient herb extract complex, and it says it is best for combo oily. Now I think if you have drier skin types, you could definitely go in with a moisturizer beforehand, or a dewy primer, something like that. I definitely think if your skin is nice and moisturized, you could easily use this and not have any problems at all. I have combo skin that's kind of just balanced in between these days, where it's like oily right in here and then just kind of normal everywhere else. It's not particularly dry, but it can get quite oily on my chin and kind of T-zone areas, and this has just performed beautifully for me. Yeah, if you're dry, I think with a little moisturizer underneath, you'll be fine, and this would definitely be something you could use, especially if you like something that's not super glowy, but you still are a drier skin type. I think not everybody wants dewy skin. It's just, you know, personal preference. This would be something that you could use and you would still have that little bit of healthy glow, but it's not going to look like you're melting. You're not going to look like a grease slick, which some products that are glow products can just be a bit too much and kind of give you almost a sweaty look, whereas this one's not going to do that. It's just going to give you a very healthy looking skin. It says here that it is a multitasking beauty balm that is a foundation, antioxidant, moisturizer, SPF 30 in 1. Features our exclusive Asian herb extract complex. Goji and hawthorn berry brightens the skin, while jasmine improves the skin's texture, retains moisture, and creates a gorgeous glowing complexion. It is meant to improve the skin's complexion, soften and even the skin tone, hydrate the skin, help reduce fine lines, wrinkles, dark spots, dullness, and signs of aging, prevent UVA, UVB damage. It says for normal to dry skin, wear over Purlisse moisturizer. For oily skin, wear alone. For extra coverage, wear under a foundation. Or of course, you can always put concealer over top. So they are saying that you could basically use this as just your SPF. And SPF 30 is pretty standard for a basic SPF. Like a lot of them are SPF 30s, like the Lighthearted from Sunday Riley that I use just on the day-to-day is an SPF 30. And that's what I wear like just around the house every day type of thing. And if I'm going out and about outside, I tend to go for more something closer to a 50 or 45. I try to get as high as I can because I'm a ghost. I'm definitely prone to sun damage. I go yearly for skin cancer checks. It's a thing. Anyway, I have the shade Fair, and it is like one of the most perfect matches ever. Like it matches my skin so beautifully. And so I'm really tickled with that. But then again, but yeah, it is kind of a lacking range. So there's that, but it can be sheared out. So you do get a little bit of leeway with it. Not a ton, because I do feel like this has more coverage than I expected it to have. Like it's a light, but it does have a buildable quality to it, but it's not like a medium coverage. But I do have some skin temps that are definitely less coverage than this. All right, so I'm gonna give it a little shake. It doesn't say you have to shake it. I just feel like I always shake my foundations. But to apply this, I've used a sponge, I've used a brush, I've used my fingers. Depends on the mood. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of pop it on my fingers and go over with a brush to smooth things out, or go over with a sponge rather. But it is super duper lightweight on the skin. You don't feel it. It doesn't feel greasy throughout the day. It's actually very, very lightweight. It's quite nice and a pretty unique product, I think. So I'm gonna just hop a little bit on and work it in with my fingers so that you can see that you can apply it like you would an SPF. I haven't noticed like a white cast, but the shade I'm using is basically like white, so I wouldn't be able to really see it. But the deeper shades, there may be a cast to it. I'm not 100% on that. But just that little bit. See how much more even this side of my skin looks? And I'm not putting on a primer today or anything like that. And I'm not going to put on any powder, except for just right on my eyes where I'm going to set my concealer. But look how pretty and even this cheek looks. Like, I think that's gorgeous. And see, this side looks shinier. It is kind of tamped down this like moisturizer glow, and it's given it this kind of soft lit from within, just pretty glow. And I can still see my freckles through, and it just looks like how my skin should look. It's my skin, but better. And you can build it up and get more coverage where you need it. Now, I personally, if I were to was going to use this for a day out and about, I would put another SPF on, like an SPF 50 underneath, because I'm not going to apply enough of this to get the benefits of the SPF, I feel like. Because I'm not going to apply 2 fingers worth, through the whole thing, through my whole face and get the coverage everywhere like I would with when I would apply like an SPF in my skincare. Me personally, I just see that more as an added bonus of this having the SPF in it. And I'm treating it more like just a nice skin tint in my mind. But that's me, and that's kind of what I would personally recommend as somebody who's pretty into their SPFs and skincare. But yeah, you see how it built up a little bit right there? It looks so good. This is one of the few products I think apply really, really nicely with the fingers as well. I'm not somebody who likes to apply their foundations or any product with my fingers, but this one does exceptionally well with a finger. And I just kind of pat it in. And I don't feel like I'm losing coverage or anything. And I can take my sponge and just tap over if I want to kind of aid in blending anywhere, if I want to kind of press it in more. But I don't feel like I need to do that with this one. If anything, this will remove coverage. But it has like a little bit of a luminosity in it. It's what it has, but it still kind of feels and looks matte over time on the skin. Like, it takes a minute for it to set down. So you'll think, oh, well, this is going to stay tacky. But it doesn't. Maybe like 10 minutes, your skin will feel like it's set. It feels like almost like I've done like a light dusting of powder over my skin. Now this side, I have a more of a red patch. So I tend to build that on the cheeks. And my skin's a little red today because I did dermaplane yesterday and do a bit of chemical exfoliating. So I'm just a tad like red from that, and it's studio lights make my face kind of flush. It just works in so easily, and all that redness is just out of here. Like, there's a little bit residual redness, but I'm going to build it up and take care of that. But I just don't feel like I'm applying enough of this to get like the full skincare or full SPF benefits of it, you know? I feel more comfortable layering an SPF on it underneath, but that's just me. But if I wasn't leaving the house and just staying at home, this would be fine, in my opinion, because I don't really go outside too terribly much or anything at home. I bring the dog out, but I'm under the carport. I don't see direct sunlight unless I'm going somewhere, and I don't have like a lot of windows or anything that I'm sitting by. Gonna be getting in and out of the vehicles and in a car and just out. Then I'm like, do they have SPF 100 for my face? They might. I think a brand has to, right? But I just talked to my dermatologist about my like SPFs and stuff, and she really did recommend like an SPF 50 for me. Because I actually did just have to go get checked for skin cancer. And it wasn't routine. I had a weird spot on my knee. A weird sus mole that my general practitioner was like, we need to get that looked at. So now I do go yearly for skin cancer checks. But it turns out the spot on my knee was, it's a benign dermafibroma, I think it's the word. It's just a benign skin growth. It's nothing. And we're just going to kind of monitor it. And yeah. But yeah, see? Redness, gone. This is such a quick product. I really do love this for just everyday makeup. I think it looks so lovely. And you can definitely pair like a flawless filter with it, get some extra glow. But I think this level of glow, you can see how it's looking more kind of just skin-like, but not super shiny over here. And it's starting to set down and feel almost powdery. Not quite, but almost. It definitely dries. And I don't feel like this oxidizes too much or anything like that. And it's just an easy product. I've never been a fan of coverage products with my fingers, like doing this. And this is one of the very few that I think this really benefits from. I think fingers are the way to go with this one. And you can really kind of just tap it in around the nose. And this is also something I feel like you could layer and build. But I think this is like such a truly like my skin but better look. Like, this is my skin tone exactly. And I think that's pretty amazing. Like, the undertone, everything is just dead on. I think this is such a pretty coverage level just for the day-to-day. Like, gorgeous. Like, for going to work, running errands, like, gorgeous. I mean, I even did a full glam look with it yesterday and just added in a little bit of extra concealer. I got a spot right here. I broke my nose, and that is where I actually scraped part of my face. So that's just a little residual thing that's healing. So if you see that, you're like, what the heck's on underneath your nose? That's what that is. But yeah, it is starting to like kind of just set down and look skin-like. And almost like just a kind of light dusting of powder, but you can still see the light kind of catch. And so I can really see it on this side where it has become almost powdery feeling. I definitely think oily skin types would enjoy this. Like this would have been the SPF that I would have recommended to my mother, who had very, very oily skin. Much more than me. I'm gonna see if I can build a little more in here. And I haven't felt like I've had any irritation from this product. It doesn't burn around my eyes. I can actually tap a little bit under there without it causing any irritation or burning, which a lot of times an SPF does feel that way to me. Okay, so what do we think? I think that looks really good. I'm just gonna kind of tap around right here, around the nose. So the only thing is I don't like applying to my fingers because I don't have like nice flat fingertips. And so I kind of like jab myself in my nails and mess up the foundation. See, I do have a little bit of dryness like right here, and it is slightly clinging to that, but any complexion product that I put on today was going to do that because that's just the way my skin is. It's not getting cakey or anything. It's just I have a little bit of dry patch right there. Yeah, I'm just going to let this kind of set down on itself and leave it alone and just building coverage and where that I just want a little more, like on my chin here. But you see I can build it. I just pat it on with what's left on the back of my hand and my fingers and anywhere that is looking like I have a little more redness to cover. And it just does build on itself really nicely. All right, we're gonna get here close so you can see. And it will get a little less glowy in a few minutes. But it's not oily looking. You can see on this side it is already starting to look a little bit more settled down, almost getting into a matte territory, but not overly matte. To me it looks like I dusted an ambient lighting powder over my skin. Alright, so for concealer, I'm just going to breeze through this real quick. I'm just put a little bit of Age Rewind. I'm just going to put this like right in here where I need a little more coverage, or I like to have a little more coverage on myself. I just like to put a little concealer in the usual spots. A little bit around the nose. And I'm just doing this to basically brighten up my under eye. So I look nice and awake. I'm just tapping that in where I need it. Alright, and then I'm just going to set my under eye area with a little bit of powder. And of course you could also pat your concealer out with a finger. And on the under eyes, I'm just going to use a touch of my number 7 Triple Action Lift and Illuminate powder. This is just a very beautiful setting powder. I like to use it under the eyes. It's very perfecting. Has a slight touch of coverage, but it's not going to change too much. And I'm not going to bring it everywhere on the face, just under the eye. I just don't want that. I have very oily under eye area, and things get very creasy on me under there these days. I just like to set just a touch of powder right there. And my chin. I get oily right there. It's a very minimal amount that I'm using. And that's it. That's all the powdering I'm going to do. And yeah, so this is how the skin looks currently. It looks pretty good. Pretty good. It's perfected, but it still looks like my skin. I think if you wouldn't look at me and think I'm wearing makeup in real life. You'd be like, nah, that's somebody just like beautiful skin. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little eye look for Instagram and a bit of blush, bronzer, highlight, and we'll be back for the finished look, and then we'll be doing a nice little wear test and see how things look at the end of the day. See you in just a minute. Alright, and here is the makeup all done for today, and here's how the skin is looking. I didn't add anything other than some blush, bronzer, highlight, all from the little Breakfast Club palette. On the eyes, I did use the little shadow block from Maybelline. This is in, I can't see, West 4th and Perry Street. It's very tiny on the back of here, okay? And yeah, this is how everything came out today. There will be a little like IG reel, I think, of doing this look. I filmed it. If it gets edited and posted, it will be another story. And on the lips is more Mocha from Maybelline Ultimates. So yeah, okay, this is how we are looking. And I will check in a few hours and see how everything is holding up. And then I'll check in before bed. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a little while. It's been on since 10 o'clock this morning, and it's currently 4 in the afternoon, and here's what we're looking like. I've had a lot of sneezing and some very watery eyes today, so yeah, that's why things are a little not great looking. But as far as the skin goes, I feel slightly dewy feeling, but I think, what's going on here? The foundation, or the BB cream rather, is holding up really well. Like, everything looks good. The glow mostly you're seeing is coming from a highlighter on my cheek. I'm trying to get into the sun where you can see pretty well what's going on. But yeah, I'm missing a little bit around the nose area because I had to blow my nose a lot today. It's very sniffly. Otherwise, I think it's holding up really well. Looks pretty good. Like, my chin's a little shiny, but not terrible. This would be something you could easily touch up, I think, with a bit of powder if you wanted to. But yeah, I think this is pretty good so far. I'm not mad at it. We'll see what it looks like tonight. Alright, see you later. Okay, it's 6:30, and here's how things look. I just had to tidy up around my eyes because I fell asleep. So I've slept on this, and it still looks pretty decent. It looks kind of strange in the viewfinder than it does in person. But yeah, everything still looks reasonably intact. I just went under my eyes a little bit with my beauty sponge, and just because I had some mascara. But here we are. Okay, so I'll see y'all at bedtime. Okay, we are 11 hours in. As you can see, it is getting dark behind me, and I'm ready for bed. Gosh, I'm tired. But yeah, I think everything held up pretty good today. Aside from me rubbing my nose and having to blow it all day, and a little bit off my chin because I just kind of forgot that I was doing a wear test and just touched my chin a lot. I think things held up fine. This is definitely a product that I think is great for just every day to throw on, and you have that extra SPF protection. I think the finish is really pretty. It does feel pretty like locked in still. It's a little dewy like right in here, and I'm getting some transfer at this point. But yeah, I think it's just a really nice, easy peasy product. Great for if you just want the SPF and a little bit of evening out. Nothing full glam crazy, but you just want something pretty for your skin. I think this is a good product, and again, I also say, you could throw another SPF and stack the deck, isn't gonna hurt. But anyway, yeah, that is all for today. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay spooky.